First, everyone, thank you so much for coming out to honor our mom, Nana, grandmother, great-grandmother. She would be thrilled to see all your faces today. She loved you people, and even though in the last couple of years she wasn't able to get to places to see you, she thought of you often and with lots of fondness, and you did so much for her with your cards and letters and phones and phone calls and flowers. So thank you so much. My brothers, Jimbo, Pete, Pietro, we were blessed with the best mom ever. She gave her heart and soul for us all the time. And even though we might fight a little bit, she would always stick up for each one of us against the other. I'm their mom.
A little bit.
Always. But it was a good thing because that's the way we got along, because we knew mom's love was more than enough for all of us. And she supported us in every kind of passion we had. Like for me, right from 3 years old, it was swimming and then ice skating. And with Jimmy, it was your love for art and books. And with Pete, it was music and the cornet. And then we all branched out into things that we loved, but no matter what, our mom was there behind us, whether she was cutting out newspaper articles to support whatever we were doing or what we were in, following us in all our jobs, to help the schools or to help any kind of event or activity that our community was doing. She loved Pennsylvania because, boy, she never lost her Pennsylvania Dutch accent, did she, guys? And her favorite word that we always teased her, California, right? And there were more too, but she would just give us the look, but she would just stomp her foot and go, okay. But everything that our mom, Jimmy always reminds me, is our mom did, it was out of love and wanting the best for all of us. And her granddaughter and great-granddaughter who are here, they know how much she loved you. And I have to compliment both of them. When mom was at, in the hospital, she wouldn't let me help her because, I will always be 12 years old to her, so I couldn't help her. But she'd let Ashley and Isis help her, doing, I won't be specific, but they did the things that I could never do, like even drops in her eyes. It was only Ashley and Isis that could do that for her. Jimmy and Pete could even help her. They would vacuum, do all kinds of things, and mom said, they vacuum for me. I'm like, well, you never let me. Mom spoiled me. I was the oldest, but she spoiled me in the best way because she taught me to be good to people and to care about everybody. And she just was so inspirational. Like, Shelley, give your best in everything. And even though computers still challenge me, she would say, stop it, stop talking and go for it. You gotta learn. And I still owe her that. I have to do that. Jimmy and Pete, I know I do. But I'll tell you guys, every one of you touched my mom. Your heart and souls, anytime she got to see you or hear about something about you, she was really tickled. She was the kind of person, Melody will tell you, those two were at Cracker Barrels, rocking in that rocking chair, laughing and carrying on. And I could tell stories about every one of you here, how you touched my mom's life, and pretty much how she touched you through me or through herself. And I just feel so blessed. I could go on and on, but I wouldn't be the person I am today without my good old mom, who was always there behind me, and she will always be in here and in here and here, and I know I will still feel the Shelly. And you know what? It'll make me do better in everything. She loved my friends. All of you out here, you know how much she treated you like. Mommy, I can tell you. If she loved you all because you loved me, and you know every one of you who touched our lives together and our families' lives, it made a difference for Mom. And I know if she could have still kept moving, she would still be here, and she would get out there and say, I want to see you guys, and I want to be with you. But God didn't have that plan. And I'll tell you, thank you, Pastor Sean, and thank you, Melody. What you played and what you said is just who she was and who she will remain in all our hearts and minds. And I have to thank all my swimming friends because you've been my life. And Mom loves you all, and every one of you, church friends, school friends, okay, neighbor friends. She didn't care if you had different political things, and we know who we're talking about, right? And she could still get along with anybody, no matter where you were coming from. And that's the kind of person I hope I can always be, just like my mom. And I have to say something about my dad, because she's the only one who could get my dad to do anything to win a prize. Okay? You know, right, you guys? We were at 4th of July, we had to win. She'd get my dad to stay up all night and make us into red, white, and blue angels with, you know, and we had to hold our arms out the whole time, walking a mile or two in the 4th of July parade. And, you know, no matter what, she got us all to do our best and help people in every way. So I hope you all will remember how the good lady she was, and I know you will. And I appreciate again everybody coming. Thank you.
Good job, Shelley. You did work on the my mom thing pretty good. There was a few my moms. We try to work on that our mom. But that's how, that kind of represents how Mom was with all of us. You're the only one at the time. You know, so you were the person right there, and you had your own special relationship with her. Faye and I are really going to miss her, because for the last 16 years, we did Sunday mornings, breakfasts. Please. I can't say that word. But that was automatic every Sunday. And we met with Faye's mom every Sunday night. So there was like a 10-year period in there where Mom wore bookends on every Sunday. Yeah. And the only thing that stopped any of us was just being sick. But that was it. And we went on with our mom for 16 years. That's a good stretch, but it was like we wanted to. We were the Three Musketeers, and we were talking about politics, but we were laughing about it. It was just a positive way, not an angry, negative thing. So we enjoyed that, going over the news, and then we'd always end it with, we have solved all the world's problems. You know, so, and we'd do that at IHOP, or we'd pick up, McDonald's morning breakfast and go to Nana's room down at Shelley's place. And Shelley did a great job providing our mom residence. And the last 2 weeks really brought a lot of things about the whole past while Mom was in the hospital. And we learned a story. I came the next day after at the hospital car garage. I couldn't find my car for half an hour. at the hospital car garage. And I was going crazy. I'm thinking, I can't believe this. And I kept remembering my car from the day I parked the day before, but it wasn't there. Finally, I just, all right, slow down. Let's look at every damn car in this garage. So right now, this is all about me. I drove by a bumper sticker one time. It was a while ago, and it was in small print. And I drove up really close to read it, and it said, "It's all about you, isn't it?" So finally, I'm looking at each car, and I get close that my beeper worked and the horn beeped. When I saw my car, I was like, somebody moved my car there. I didn't park it there. So I go in and tell Mom at the hospital. And she says, "You didn't take a picture, did you?" And the next time I came to visit her, "Well, did you take a picture?" So then I find out she's been holding out on me. She lost her car at a mall parking lot, and she invoked the police to help find it for her. And that's not, she invokes the police at a drop of a hat, because in the 60s, she thought somebody robbed her purse. So the police come. I don't know who opened the oven door, but one of the policemen said, "Ma'am, is this your purse?" And she had put the purse in the oven quickly. I guess the table was a mess or something. Yeah. And Shelley just told me, and I'm like, I didn't hear this till 2 weeks ago. And then Shelley tells me that you guys got lost in Downingtown or something. Shelley. But, you got lost, and she's wanting to call the police. So the police were very helpful in Mom's life. And, she also made you feel, you need to answer that? She wasn't just a general. I'm 69, and she wanted to get shoes for me. And I was, and she always got me shoes. I'm 69 and I never bought a pair of shoes in my life. But if I got out of line, she became the general. But I'm 69, she's 92. She's what you would call an enabler. So here she is in the hospital, and I'm thinking, all right, I gotta go home, and I go online to order a shoe, and it's not till May 31st. And I'm like, well, Mom might not last that long, so I better go to the store. So I got 2 pairs of shoes. One for dress and one for knockaround. And I came into the hospital room and showed evidence, because she wouldn't believe me. So, Belks and Coles, man. But, so she was really happy about that. I had worried I was removing a reason for her to hang around. Because she would make Shelley drive her. Would get Jimmy a book, blue jeans, shirts. When she couldn't drive, she made you do it. So there's 2 generals in the car. They're both retired generals, and she's driving General Mom around to buy me something. One of those generals was a little disgruntled about that. But we're just really going to miss her Sundays. And I could go on there's so many stories. That Hagar, the cartoon, that's that arm wrestling championship. That was at the Armory in Winchester in 1977. In fact, I don't know if any of you know, Joe Bajan did the article on that. And while they're handing her a trophy this high, the girl she knocked out is being taken away in an ambulance because she broke her arm. Now, prior to this event, she would get the devil in her eyes and challenge us to arm wrestle her. And none of us took her on. And I'm like, how did she get so strong? It's like, is it because her arms were short? She had more leverage? And then I realized, I catch her ironing my underwear. I mean, she was really German. Like, she had a Dutch weird to her. So she was funny. And because she was a general most of the time, because she had to keep us in line, I asked Shelley just yesterday, did that always surprise you when Mom would break out in a big smile and start laughing or giggling? Because she was always in her general mode. So we're going to really miss her. And like Shelley said, we really appreciate you all coming out. And thank you. The fingernails. Just the fingernails. There's a picture of her fingernails. And the great-granddaughter, she wasn't just general, enabler, mom, grandmom, but she was mom, and she had mom stenciled on her fingernail polish. So, but when you looked at it in the hospital room, it was upside down and said, "Wow."
Thanks for being here today. Bear with me because I'm going to paint the barn red and I'll probably cry. So Nana was really special to me, as I know she was special to each and every one of us here. Nana won #1 best handwriting in her class. When I was little, she used to drill into me the importance of handwriting in perfect script, writing in cursive. My handwriting was awful. It was atrocious. But Nana was tough. She drilled it into me. Nana always wanted a little princess. She wanted a girly girl. And I don't think she ever got that with her first daughter, Aunt Shelley. She certainly didn't get it with me, but third time's a charm, and with my daughter Isis, she got her princess. She was able to dote on her little girly girl, and they went shopping for shoes, pretty pink tutus, and tiaras. She made so many memories together. And even though we were all forced into ballet and tap, I think it was Isis that enjoyed it the most, and probably Nana with Isis, making those memories together. And I know that all of those ballet outfits and tap outfits are still hanging up in the closet right now. Nana had a sense of humor that was unparalleled, it was prominent, it was in your face, and it was there until the very last drop. She was clear-minded, quick-witted, and ready to sing you if you got out of line. She even got my dad recently with a short story. And I'm really grateful for all of his humor in the last memory, because he has a lot of great stories, and her humor with him was unparalleled. So much so that some of my fondest and final memories are of all of us cackling maniacally late at night in the hospital and getting reprimanded by the late night principal, AKA the nurse. She would come in and she reminded all of us about where we were. We were in a hospital. We were supposed to be sad. But then she left and she winked, and when she walked out, that just ensued another bout of some really subdued laughter. We didn't want to get kicked out. So reflecting back on my life, Nana had a huge hand in raising me. If it weren't for her, I don't know where I'd be. And she is one of my all-time favorite humans. Her sweet and gentle, kind, thoughtful, and compassionate soul has touched each and every one of us. Nana once promised me that she'd always be there and have my back, and I promised her that I'd be there whenever she needed me most. And so over the last 2 weeks, she remembered those promises and she brought them back up, and we talked about them towards the end. Late at night, when all the nurses had left and finished their rounds and everyone had gone home, Nana and I would stay up. pretty late sometimes, and we would talk about memories, some secrets, some of her life experiences, and some questions she had about what was coming next. She asked me if she thought that she would be a flower in the Garden of Heaven. And I asked her what kind of flower she would like to be. She told me she would like to be an azalea, lavender. Azaleas are often associated with spiritual meanings of beauty, renewal, and the delicate nature of love. They symbolize the cyclical nature of life, their vibrant blooms, making new beginnings, and marking the return of life after death of winter. The azalea is considered a symbol of temperance and a duty of care. Lavender, or purple, is often associated with wisdom, dignity, and nobility. And we all know that Nana embodied all of these things. And as we've all mentioned, our family gave her the coveted title of general, as her tough German spirit, full of integrity, temperance, and her duty to care for all of us was the glue that kept us in line and together. Nana was our anchor, and now she gets to be a graceful flower in the Garden of Heaven, full of honor, duty, and care, always watching over us. So, some final little memories and some last thoughts. It was on Monday, June 2nd. I had taken a trip back down to the Keys, and a lifelong friend was driving in the car. We were driving back home down to Key West. And as he drove, I was lulled off to sleep in the passenger seat, and as I was napping, I had a dream. Nana was driving. She was all in white in her white car, and I was in the back seat, and she was driving me to school. She was always taking care of me. So I look down at my wrist, and I see that we have 5 minutes to get there on time. And I don't ever remember Nana speeding. She was always looking around, going like this, fearing off the side of the road. I'd have to pull her back, let's go this way. But I don't ever remember her speeding, but in this dream, she really hauled butt. She got me there on time. We pulled up to the school building, and I got out of the car. I woke up, I looked at my phone, Nana had passed. And in my heart of hearts and soul of souls, I know that she's still there, always watching out for us and taking care of all of us. Thank you.
I guess the youngest goes last. You know, my friend Keith Tillmont from the Navy once told me, "You have the greatest mom." And he was right. He stayed at our house one night after we got out of the Navy. Like young men, we went out and came back at 2 a.m. in the morning. And there was Mom waiting up, concerned, wanting to know if we were okay. And after the motherly reminder to be careful next time, what did she do? She asked if we were hungry at 2 a.m. in the morning. And then she cooked us trout at 2 in the morning. Keith just shook his head and said, "Your mom's the best." That was our mom, and my mom, and your mom. She stayed up for us, literally, figuratively. She waited, she watched, she worried, she prayed, and she showed up at our school events, our concerts, our sports games, and later for her grandchildren and grandchildren. Her whole life was lived for the goodness of others. It's not a platitude, that's the truth. Mom didn't seek attention. She wasn't loud, but her presence was powerful, steady, joyful, and full of care. She had a way of making everyone feel like they were the most important person in the world. Whether it was in the kitchen, the laundry room, or a checkout line at the store, people were drawn to her. Her smile was real, her generosity was natural, her heart was pure. She loved to shop, but it was never for herself. She shopped for others, in good shoes. More shoe stories. That was her thing. Just last week, my brother Jimmy told her, and you heard the story earlier, he bought his very first pair of shoes. And of course, what did Mom do? She asked to inspect them. And she gave her motherly stamp of approval. Big thumbs up in the hospital. And if you think Mom didn't have a sense of humor, let me take you back to kindergarten. Easter time. Mom and her friends had a great idea. I was supposed to be the Easter Bunny. I protested, but they said, no one will recognize you in the costume. And I had this secret decoder wristband. And my friend David, sure enough, spotted it and said, the Easter Bunny's Peter Moyer. I was like, oh my. And then every Halloween, Mom would dress up, if you could believe this, and sneak out of the house and do trick or treat at our own house at the front door, just to see if we would recognize her. So all these kids would come up and there'd be this big one. We didn't because she was that good. But the moment we looked confused, she couldn't hold herself. She would burst out laughing. She was a joy. She was fun, and she was deeply faithful to all of us. Just a few days ago, a pastor came by to visit and read the Psalm 23. Even with her hearing nearly gone, Mom quietly recited the entire thing from memory. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That was her anchor, her belief in God, her servant heart, her deep love for family and for others. She lived her life rooted, I think, in Philippians 2:3-4. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but humility, count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. That's what she did every single day. Even after caring for my dad, Mom moved in with my sister. And though we said Shelley was taking care of Mom, truthfully, Mom still did the laundry, cooked the meals, even for a professional chef like my sister.
Professional chef.
And yes, I knew that would get the biggest laugh of the day. And yes, she even picked up her dog's dog poopings in the yard almost every day. That was her. Always helping, always serving, and never complaining. And now she's with the Lord. She said just a week ago that it was up to God when she would go. And she was ready. And I believe he was ready for her. So today we celebrate the life of Jean Elizabeth Moyer, a woman who left every room, every table, every life she touched better than when she found it. She lived for others, she loved deeply, she laughed often, and now she rests in peace she so fully deserves. And one day, I can't wait to see her again. Healthy, whole, laughing, and probably, and beware of this, inspecting someone's shoes at Heaven's Gate. We love you, Mom. Thank you for everything.